All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful leg out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shah. All right, what I want to get into, all right, tonight, in the spirit, just going into the importance, of a good name, the benefits of having a good name, okay? And we live in a society now, ruled by Esau Edom, where having a good name, okay, is not valued, it's all about, the material things you got. That's why, they have this mindset, get rich or die trying, pretty much just chase riches and the hell with morals. Okay, the hell with integrity. Okay, this is a society that's very narcissistic, where it's all centered around self. Okay, and the right now, when you go into the scriptures, you see our forefathers was always thinking big picture. They was always thinking nation minded. When you look at our righteous forefathers, they were, because when you go into the law, all right, grooms us to carry ourselves in a way, okay, that wherever we go, we will create a good name. You see, that's why even within different captivities, our people had good names, and we're going to go into these different accounts. You see how we move, how we are, in this world, that's a name. Now you're gonna be demon, you're gonna have niggas that just gonna, niggas under the curses and all right. But anyone that has a decent mindset of some type of integrity, the scriptures pretty much put us in a position where we're constantly, adding to a good name, just being solid, man. You know? And most importantly, having a good name with Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. All right. So we're going to go into these things and go into the importance of it, man, because, when you think of a mindset of legacy, a man's name was everything. Okay. Because when you read these scriptures, all right, you'll be like, you read it, but then it don't really hit. But then when you go into these accounts, it'd be like, okay, hey, all right. All right. So this is Proverbs, all right, Proverbs 22:1. It says a good name, all right, is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. And see, first and foremost, as Israelite men, we want a good name with Yahweh Bashim Shah. We want a good rapport with our power. That's first and foremost, man. Okay? And then the scriptures say, all right, what's that in I think that's in Proverbs 2, Proverbs 12. Um, Let me see. All right, it's Proverbs 16:7. It says, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Okay? So the focal point, first and foremost, is having a name that pleases Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Okay? And when you go into name, let's go into the word name real quick. So let's go back to Proverbs 22. All right, let's get the book of Proverbs 22 and 1. All right, let's get this word name. all right, which is shown, okay? And what's his name going to? All right, it says a reputation, a fame, a glory, a memorial, a monument, okay? So your name dealing with your reputation, and let's get this word reputation. See, does it give us some? All right, reputation. It says the beliefs or opinions that are generally held, all right, about someone or something. A widespread belief that someone or something has a particular habit or characteristic. Okay, and reputation, all right, comes to what? Our lifestyle, our habits. What we consistently do, that becomes your reputation. What we consistently do, okay, within the spirit, what we consistently do within our day to day, that becomes our reputation, man. And they can either build a good name or a bad name. Now, of course, we're not here to be loved by the world, okay? But when you really get into the integrity and the balance of the scriptures, you know, by default, it creates a good name, okay, around people that you're around. You know, I say you're gonna just have some, some assholes, some niggas, and you know, Edomite, the tension, between us and Esau, But then on the flip side, remember, if a man ways please the Lord, he make even his enemies be at peace with him, man. Okay, now let's go from there, and I want to get some accounts so we can really paint a picture. Now go to Genesis 47 and 1. It says, Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, My father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan, and behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, What is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, Thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said moreover unto Pharaoh, For to sojourn in the land are we come, for thy servants have no pastor for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now therefore we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, Thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt, okay, is before thee. In the best of the land, make thy father and brethren to dwell, in the land of Goshen, let them dwell. And if thou knowest any man of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle. Okay? So why is Pharaoh having this favor? Okay, because of the good name that Joseph had. Okay, Joseph went to prison pretty much in Egypt, wrongfully accused for what? His integrity. Okay, and within him going to prison, all right, when he was released due to him being able to interpret dreams, the Lord set it up, all right, for him to be the only one to interpret those dreams and really which pretty much saved the empire. Okay, what did Joseph do? He showed integrity. When he got out, he didn't feel no way, towards Pharaoh. All right, he still aided Pharaoh. All right, with his interpretation of the dreams. Okay, which in turns saved the Egyptian empire and the surrounding lands as well. Okay, and really it boosted Egypt to be their superpower. Okay, because all the wealth through uh, uh through Joseph interpreting their dream, okay, the wealth will come into Egypt through Joseph interpretation. Okay, and the Lord set it up for Joseph to have a great name unto Pharaoh, and with him having a good name, he was able to what? All right, have favor, and the Pharaoh not only let Joseph's family come in, his father, his brethren, and their children. Okay, he gave them the best land. Okay, and not only did he give them best land, he made them overseers in agriculture, pretty much, man. When you go into it, and why? Well, all that came from the good name that Joseph had through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. There's benefits in having a good name. Okay, just like there's you know there's bad consequences for having a bad name. Like that can have a trickle effect. You see, a name is pretty much, your name is pretty much immortal. We're still talking about the acts of Moses, the acts of David. We're speaking about Joseph, things that happened thousands of years ago. Your name is pretty much immortal. Your legacy that you you see, that's everlasting. Going back into this whole understanding of everlasting. Well, look, these men's good name, all right, are memorial. They're a monument. Okay, a standard. Okay, so let's go from there. Let's get this in the book of Nehemiah. Okay, I'm just getting a couple because there's a few. We'll speak on it, but let's get this in Nehemiah chapter 2. All right, it says, and it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was before him, and I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not, it said, now I had not been before time sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad? And this is Nehemiah, seeing that thou art not sick. This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad when the city, the place of my father's sepulchre, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? Then the king said unto me, for what doest thou make request? So I prayed to the Most High of heaven, and I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant had found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. Because Nehemiah was sad when he heard he had got, the news pretty much of how, hey, Jerusalem was ruined, people was through, okay, and he was saddened when he got that news, man, because he had sent report to see, how his brethren fared. When he got the report back, he was sad, and he couldn't hide it. It was on his countenance, So as he doing his duty of cupbearer, which that's an honorable, position within the king's court, to be a king's cupbearer, because that shows that he trusts you, because that lets you know that, going back to it, this law, when we live by this standard to the best of our ability, when we live by the wisdom of our forefathers, it creates a integrity that's universally, appreciated, by any type of man of some type of understanding. Any type of man that knows how systems and businesses run, and understand assets and liabilities, they can look at brothers and they're like, okay, this brother, because if you're a king and you trust someone to be your cupbearer, you're pretty much trusting them with your life. Okay, because a lot of men, okay, of high rank would die from what? Poison. Okay, so if he's able to trust Nehemiah to be his cupbearer, he's trusting him with his life. Why is that? Because he know that Nehemiah serves a power of integrity, man. You see? I pray it's making sense. All right, and it says, in the king's, verse 6, it says, and the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be, and when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convoy me over till I come in Judah. So now he's pretty much asking for like a passport. Okay, let these governors know, man. Hey, hey, I'm off limits. Pretty much. These letters made Nehemiah untouchable. Okay, these letters made Nehemiah untouchable. Why? Because he had a good name with the king. Okay, so the king wrote them letters. Look, don't a nigga, he wish a nigga would when it came to Nehemiah. Why? Because Nehemiah, because of his character, you know how valuable it was to a king to have a man of integrity within your courts that you can trust. That's why he told Nehemiah, like, look, okay, you can leave, but when you coming back? Like, he like, I need you here, like shit. All right. Because why, man? Hey, he had a solid name. Okay. And it says, this is Nehemiah 2:7. It said, moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let the letters be given to me, to the governors beyond the river, that they may convoy me over till I come into Judah. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which appertain to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my power upon me. Going back to when a man's way please the Lord, even his enemies, all right, even his enemies, all right, shall be, he being treated of his enemies, man. You know, he being treated well of his enemies. Verse 9 it says, then I came to the governors beyond the river and gave them the king's letter. Now the king has sent captains of the army and with horsemen with me. You see this verse 9, I read in NLT. When I came to the governors of the province west of the Euphrates River, I delivered the letters to them. The king, I should add, has sent along army officers and horsemen to protect me. Okay? Why? It went all back to a good name. You see? Because when you can have money, but that money has a measure on it. But if you got a good name, you can be good pretty much everywhere you go. You know? Because what they're saying in where your reputation precedes you. Okay? So he was good everywhere he went. And it was known like, no, this is the king's, this is an Israelite, the king's cupbearer, don't touch him. Okay. Like, nah, he's straight, you know. He got passage, he got resources, okay, based off his name. Okay. So this is the mindset that we're tapping back into as Israelite men. You see? This is why we have to be mindful how we move, mindful how we teach, mindful how we are off camera, because we represent a brand. Okay? We've been attached to a legacy. We're forwarding a name, all right, and the legacy in the earth. Okay, even on on a small level, going back to my grandfather that was from the country, and it's a little spot we go to, a little comedy spot. They had a little comedy show, and some of my uh grandfather's friends be at the little spot, like a little bar, a little laid back. Jake be chilling, and you know the way they embrace me based off my grandfather. You know, he like it's like an embracement. Based off the works that my grandfather was doing, but even before I was living, he had a solid name. Everywhere around that little town in that area, you know, and that it was a pretty much the way that they would embrace me based off of him, you know, and for them to see me and they looking like, okay, he's put together, they see me, uh, uh, pretty much as a family man. You know, that's what they know me as. It's just a working, family man, head on the shoulder, right? And for them to see that, it's a joy to them because they understand what my grandfather was. So they see like a continuation, okay, or just a solid man. You see? And there's nothing like carrying on the legacy of your forefathers, and that's on a carnal level in the world. But how much more, all right, if we carry on the legacy of our forefathers in the scriptures, man. You see? And this the mindset that we tapping back into as Israelite men. Hey, that name, man. We want that solid name, and we're gonna keep building on it, man. All right. Now, one of the most solid names outside of Yahweh Shai is who? King David. And the Most High would always reiterate that when he was dealing with the kings that would come after David, okay, from the line of Judah, all right, the southern kingdom. Let's get a few examples, even, with Solomon. Let's get this in 1 Kings 11. 1 Kings 11 and 1. It says, but King Solomon loved many strange women together with the daughter of Pharaoh, the women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. And it says, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely, okay, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart, which is his mind, after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord, his power, as was the heart of his father David. For Solomon went after Ashtaroth, the goddess of Zidonians, and Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord as David his father. See, it's referring back to David. Okay? It said, then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh and the abomination of Moab in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech and the abomination of the children of Ammon. Now, verse 8 said, likewise he did for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord, power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. And he commanded, and he commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant, which the kingdom was split between northern and southern kingdom. All right, behind this, notwithstanding, in the days I will not do, all right, notwithstanding that in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend all the kingdom, but will give it one tribe to thy son, for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. So because of David's name and his, okay, favor of the Lord, the Lord didn't do it in the days of Solomon. He did it in the days of his son, and even then, he left a portion of the kingdom, within the house of Judah. For who? For David's sake. Okay, David had that good name, and ultimately to fulfill prophecy of Yahweh Shai coming through that line. Okay, but David would be the standard. Okay, David was known as a man after the Most High's own heart. Okay, and even when David went off, okay, he was contrite. He was broken behind it. When David went off, he was extremely broken behind it, man. Okay, and he received those mercies. You see, but David was known to be obedient and fervent for Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. And he never went off serving other guys. He remained faithful to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai all the way through. You know, even in his sin, all right, he turned back to Yahweh Bashim Al Shai with that contrite heart. All right. You read Psalms 51. You know, that was David in his broken state. You see? So let's go from there. Now, this is on down in history, man, to show you. All right. 1 Kings 15. Let's see. All right. This is 1 Kings 15:1. It says, now in the 18th year of King Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, reigned Abijah over Judah. 3 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Maacah, the daughter of Absalom. And he walked in the sins of his fathers, which he had done before him, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his power, as the heart of David his father. Nevertheless, for David's sake did the Lord his power give him a lamp in Jerusalem to set upon his son after him and to establish Jerusalem, because David did that which was right in the sight, right in the eyes of the Lord, and turned not aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, save only in the matter of Uriah, all right, the Hittite, going back to David's sin, you know, with the adultery and then that murder. Okay. You see? But David, all right, stayed faithful all the way through. And see, that made David solid. The Lord pretty much stamped him. That made King David solid, solid, man. Okay? And I'm gonna give one more account. To all the way through the lines, you know, the reference point will always go back to David. Because David had that solid name with Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. Okay? So let's go here now. This is all the way in times of Hezekiah. Okay, when you get this in 2 Kings, now what you have here, all right, just to get to the point. So pretty much, King Sennacherib, all right, of Assyria, is pretty much attempting to take the southern kingdom in captivity as well, but that wasn't ordained. It was only ordained for them to take the northern kingdom. Okay, the Babylonians would take the southern kingdom eventually. All right. So when you go into it, all right, this is 2 Kings 19:32. All right, King Sennacherib of Assyria, he was talking all this shit what he was gonna do, and he gonna he boasting what he was gonna do. You see, but this is the message that Hezekiah got from Isaiah. Okay, it said, therefore, thus said the Lord concerning, all right, the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, all right, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, said the Lord. For I will defend this city to save it for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. You see? So this is during the time of Hezekiah, generations on down the line, and David's favor, okay, is still all right, benefiting, kings way on down the line, man. Okay, this is close to like maybe 270 years after, give or take, around that area, man. Okay, 270 years. You do that now, man. Like something. Okay, that that your forefather did in the in the 1700s, and you benefiting off of it now. Okay, that's what was going on, man. But going back to the the value of a good name as an Israelite man. A good name is what we're fighting for, man. You know, we're gonna go into and see the Lord. What He's doing ultimately is for His name. Everything that the Lord is doing is ultimately for His name. I want to get that one as well. Let's get this in Isaiah, okay, 48:10. And it says, Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. And this is us now. We're being refined. Okay? Until what? We're become likened unto His image. You know? So we're being put in this furnace of affliction, okay, to be refined. You see, so we can be solid. All right? Verse 11, for my own sake, even my own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? And I would not give my glory unto another. So the Lord's name is not going to be polluted out here, man. The Lord is going to bring glory to His name. Okay? And the main way He's going to do is through His Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay? And as we're established as a ruling nation in the earth, begin that governing body, the rest of the 1/3 that's going to be, delivered. Okay? When we come out those chariots, hey, we're coming out to establish, okay, the name, the authority, the reputation of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai in the earth, man. Okay? That's going to be our eternal, uh, uh, duty, is to establish the righteous reputation of our Heavenly Father in the earth, man, because that's what it was always meant to do. You go to Deuteronomy 4:6, we was always meant to do that. Okay? All right? So we understand, okay, what we're doing here, man. We don't want no BS attached to our name, man. That brother couldn't take the hat off while he teach. This brother, you see, these brothers was lying on those men. They was slandering those men that was fighting for righteousness, man. Okay, we don't want that on our name, man. Them brothers, they knew what the sea hill was. They knew what it was, and they still didn't teach it, man. A lot of people got killed because those. A lot of families got put to death behind what they was teaching. We don't want that on our name, man. you know, and that's why it's gonna be men with shame for a while in the kingdom, man. Okay, because they them bad names, man. And like I say, you see today like a bad name. Hey, you can, hey, you go try to get a, little town you in, you go try to get a job, then they find out who your daddy is. Hell no. Cause I know, some of them guys I used to work with, man. If I if I had a little company, man, and some of them come in, they say who they daddy is, oh hell no. Which hey, you know, hey, but hey, they make you say like you still kind of, for the sake of balancing, for the sake of righteousness. But hey, some of them niggas for sure, just because of, what Jake said on GP, you know, that's your dad? Hell no, no shit, no, you know. You see, it could go both ways, man. And then it might not be fair, but shit, hey, your daddy, shit, your daddy name so bad, like shit, you don't even want to take a chance. If you a piece of this nigga, like nah, we don't even, you know. But hey, that's how it is as a man, you know. But this society didn't teach us that, this is a society that's individually mindset, and then sometimes the son don't automatically be of the father because but that's the story of the elect, and that they're not, because you go to Abraham, he pretty much was the progenitor of the legacy of the sons of God being reestablished in the earth. He broke away from his father, you know, he broke away from the ways of his father and began, to begin a righteous legacy, a legacy under Yahweh Bashim Al Shai. But in order to, that's why in the scripture, you know, it tells us how, we would, matter of fact, let me get it. Let me just get it. You go to Leviticus. It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 26. All right, verse 41. Well, I started on 40. It says, if they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers. You see, because we came into this thing as we started believing and start, being obedient. Our obedience alone was denouncing the ways of our fathers, man. You know, so to detach away from that name, you would have to kind of do what, man? Put in work to show that you were different. Okay, and what we're doing, being obedient, we like, nah, they was off. We get it. Yeah, they was off. Our obedience is us denouncing the ways of our fathers, man. Okay, with their trespass, which they trespass against me, and that they also have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and then they accept of their punishment of their iniquity, which is what we're doing. We just got to bear it. We're not trying to bear arms. We're not, trying to find ways to scheme out this situation. We just gotta deal. We just teach and just deal with it, man. You know, it says, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. Okay, he's remembering, all right, the covenants he made with our forefathers, man. Okay, we're benefiting off the good name of our forefathers, man. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all our righteous forefathers. Hey, we're benefiting off their works, their labor, their name. Okay. So let's go here. I end it here. Let's get this in um this is the book of Second Ezra. Okay. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 2. Okay. And 42. It says, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number. And they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered me and said unto me, These are they that have put off the mortal clothing and have put on immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High. That's another thing. You don't want to, them boys, you don't want to have it to your legacy. Hey, them boys calling on Christ. They were calling on Christ in 2023. At the very end, they were still calling on Christ. No, we confess the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, man, openly. Okay? And it says, uh, and in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, which is Yahweh Shah, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and this is 144,000. And he was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. He was taller, Yahweh Shah taller, but then he has the highest rank. Okay? It says, so I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they which have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of the Most High. Now are they crowned and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. That's going to be part of our legacy. Okay? You see, that's going to be part of it, that we stood stiffly in the midst of what we're finna go through now. As we see these banks collapses and these different things, it's going to come a time when the Most High going to put the spirit on Esau to just pull the plug on everything, man. Okay? And that's gonna be the time to to make a name for ourselves, as they say. Hey, this gonna be the time to finish making a name for ourselves, man. To complete it. Okay? So these hard times gotta come. Okay? This is where we get a chance to be great in Yahweh Bashim Shai in the times to come. Okay, through faith, through being unmovable, man, even unto death. Okay? And that name is gonna be eternal. Okay? No matter where you at, eventually in the earth, then eventually in other planets, that name is gonna that's them, that's him, that's them, that's you see? You have to understand. We got to have this mind and see this type of mindset. When we think like this, we don't care about no goddamn hat. Okay, we ain't think about no goddamn white woman. Okay, if a brother is into white women, you ain't thinking of no stupid shit like that, man. Some hair, Facebook, you not thinking of no dumbass shit like that, man. Okay, if this is our mindset, that shit don't even register, it don't even factor. Okay. You see? So I want to get this. I want to get that name in the New Letter. I mean, in the New Testament. Just get that word name. Okay. So I want to get that word name. So you get it in the New Testament in the Greek.
Strong's G 3686. Anima.
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 Anima. Okay. Now it said the name is used for everything which the name covers. Everything the thought or feeling of which is aroused in the mind by mentioning, hearing, remembering the name. So you have to, even today, when you think of particular people's name, you start automatically attaching the accolades to them. Okay, you start to automatically attach a reputation to them. Okay, when you just hear the name, when you hear Michael Jordan, okay, when you hear Mike Tyson, you attach the goods, and the bads, okay, however it might be, when you hear names. So even now, like when you hear someone's name, you attach, okay, there's a thought that's aroused when you say that name. Okay, when you say particular men's name, there's a thought, that's aroused when you say those names. Okay, and it can be good or bad. Like I say, like, going back to a bad name, because see, pretty much, if you haven't established a reputation and a name for yourself, and all people have is to go on is as the name of your people, and hey, if it's a bad name, then it's like shit. When especially they look alike. Oh Lord, him. When you call out who they dad is before they say it, oh Lord, have mercy. Oh, Lil Willie, shit, nah, we ain't hiring. We, yeah, we full. But going back to it, like I say, your name, then what when you hear a name, automatically there's a reputation linked to it, man. Whether good or bad. Okay, and it says, uh, the name, i.e., for one's rank, authority, interest, pleasure, command, excellence, deeds, okay, deeds, etc., man. Okay, so we're fighting to having that incorruptible name. Okay, that's what we're fighting for, man. You see? So I just want to put that out there. Somebody been meditating on as I've been riding. And Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you few sisters were edified, man. Brothers keep fighting, hey, for the eternal, name, okay, of honor, which is gonna be incorruptible, it's gonna be immortal, and the fight, like we're fighting now, you know. And it's a day-to-day thing, man. Every day we want to add to, hey, that good name, you know. So Lord will you brothers and you few sisters edified to the next time I say Shalom. Kwam Yasha Allah Bible Bible DTA soon. Shalom.